Sunday. Okay, Manuel?
Yeah, his brothers got all the money.
Yes, his brothers saved all their money. He spent his. Aiden?
He spent all the money.
He spent all his money. How much money did he have on Sunday? What did he start with? Jared? $1. He started with $1, yes. Okay, now I want you, for a minute, to look at the covers of both of these stories. And while looking at them, raise your hand when you can tell me something that is similar between the two covers. Something that's similar between them. Jessica?
They both have the same character on the cover.
They both have the same character, yes. What about something else? Manuel?
They're both white.
Yes. What about you, Andre?
Both titles have a white color.
Both titles have a lot of color. Hey, what about the author? Look at the author for a few minutes. Are they the same?
Yeah.
Same names? Judith Boris on both? Hey, what about the illustrator? Is it the same? Okay, now take a minute and look and tell me something you find that's different between the two stories, between the two covers. Alright, David?
Different pictures on the cover.
There's different pictures on the covers. He's standing up on this one, and he's laying in bed on this one. What about something else that's different? Alexis?
That one's sleeping and that one's awake.
Okay, one's sleeping and one's awake. Anything else, Jared? Different titles, yes. One's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, which we haven't read yet. And then the Alexander who used to be rich last Sunday. Nada, you see something else? Do what? Yeah, they're not the same color. This one's like a golden color and this one's blue. Alright, you see something, Jessica?
The author is showing that it's night and that it's day.
Not just that, yeah, that's really good. The author might be showing that this one's at night and this one's at day. Okay, so when we look for things that are similar and different between two different things, that is called comparing and contrasting. So let's say that you're on your way to a book fair and you've got $5 and you get there and you really love two books. Can you afford them both with $5, you think?
No.
Probably not. So you're going to have to sit down and go through those books and figure out, we're going to compare them and see what's the same between these books. And you're going to contrast them and go through them and see what's different between these two books to figure out which book you may want to spend your $5 on, since you can only get one. Right? Okay, let's think about math. Do any of you remember learning about place value toward the beginning of the year in math? Remember place value? There's a poster on the wall back there. Do you remember learning about that? Okay, well you were actually comparing and contrasting when you worked with place value. Let's say that you had two numbers and each had 3 digits in them, but one was greater or smaller than the other. Well, if you compare them, what they have in common is they both have 3 digits. But if you contrast them and look for a difference, then what's different about them is one is greater or smaller than the other number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the past couple of days we've learned a little bit about theme, plot, and setting. Who can raise their hand and remind me what the theme of a story is? Remember the theme? Jared. The author's message. So what was the theme in Alexander Who Used to Be Rich last Sunday? Remember the theme from that, Jessica?
Save your money.
Saving money. So the author was trying to send a message to save money because Alexander spent his so quickly on things that he didn't need. Okay. Let's talk about plot next. Does anyone remember plot? Who remembers what the plot of a story is? Angel? The events in the story. So what was some of the events in the story from Alexander Who Used to Be Rich last Sunday? What was one thing? Where did he go to spend his money? What's one place that he went? George.
Drugstore.
The drugstore. He went to the drugstore. David? The yard sale. Okay, Manuel. His house. Yes, he made bets in his house and lost money with his brothers. Okay, what about setting? Do you remember what's the setting of the story? What's the 2 words I told you to remember for setting? David. Where was one of them? What was the second one? When. Where and when. Very good. Okay, so where is where the story took place for setting, and when is where it took place. So do you remember what the when was in Alexander Who Used to Be Rich last Sunday? Anyone besides David remember it? You remember it, Nada? What was it? Did it take place in one day, or did it take place over a few days? One day, yes. And then the where was multiple places, right? Because he went to the drugstore and his house. Okay, so today what we're learning about is how to compare and contrast the themes, the settings, and plots of two stories that are written by the same author about the same character. So now I want to have you turn to a partner or a group of three at your table and discuss what you think compare and contrast means. Based off the covers that we compared and contrast and everything we just talked about, what do you think it means? Discuss it with someone beside you or your table.